Hi YouTube, I hope you're doing good. I'm doing okay, not too bad. I started listening to, well, I'm not sure that I'm going to mention the channel yet, but a person that deals with spirituality and psychology on a certain level. I'm not quite sure. Like for me personally, I've worked in the mental health community and medical field and ministry. So I'm a little different on a little bit of levels, but just a word to the wise that one of my trigger things is when narcissists come up at me, and this is some of their words that they'll say, oh, like, don't get negative because that's what Satan wants you down on that negative level. And this is absolutely true. I just want to make it be very well known that I'm a very strong woman in my faith and stronger in a lot of other ways too. And when I come up against these big monsters trying to lead other people astray, it's not always going to sound so pretty when I'm talking to them. And it depends. See, it's not just one person. This will be several men. Women don't usually come against me like that. Not when I'm saying, like, oh, yeah, like, not to be teaching everybody to, that porn's acceptable, you know. But, so yeah, I got some people hating on me. Hey, the day after I said something to Jordan Peterson, he got his daughter up there. They were talking. He's upset. And so what is that telling me? Oh, well, you taught your daughter this? What? I don't know if she's married or not, but are you making it sure that this young woman can never have a healthy relationship with her husband and only her husband, with nobody else in their lives besides them and God? Uh, Way to go, Dr. Peterson. Yeah. So anyway, yes, I'm fully aware of that vibrational thing. I grew up on people trying to do witchcraft on me, and they've hated me my whole life because I have God in my heart. So no worries on that note, okay? Just so you know that right up front. So just a moment, excuse me. Another thing, I drink coffee, I smoke cigarettes, and maybe something else. Um, I don't promote it. My videos are never for children. If you find my heart and soul unworthy or not to your liking, I'm cool with that. I wish you the best. Have a good life. Goodbye. So, enough said, right? So anyway, why is it that people seem to think that the old scriptures aren't relevant today? That the Old Testament has no um, viability in our society today, when the laws of God and the Word of God is golden from the beginning till the end of it. But they seem to want to omit the laws that keep us healthy and help us. It's kind of astounding, actually. you know. So anyway, no, I'm not done with Jordan Peterson. And on that note, because he reaches thousands, if not millions, of people with his poor advice. And it's beyond poor. It's evil. That's all there is to it. And last night, okay, so this is what dismissing. I'm not 100% good, so let's just dismiss everything I say. Well, that pretty much would be if I was out there touring the world and trying to take youth away from God and anybody else that would listen to that rhetoric. Yeah, that would be a grievance, you know. And mercy. Every day we have mercy if we have a repentant heart, if we have remorse, if we have shame. If we don't, well, who are you following in line with then? If you're not teaching what is healthy for us, what are you teaching? You know? And just yesterday I was saying, now I understand, you know, because I've talked before about them screaming ministers that get all worked up. And yeah, I mean, in my way, I do too, but it's a little different because I'm actually telling these Masonically inclined people how I was raised and what I'm going to do about it. So it's a little bit different. But, yeah, there's always room for forgiveness and mercy. But that's what Jordan Peterson's video said last night. God is the pinnacle of goodness. Well, yes, we know that. So what are you saying? So you aren't, but you can keep teaching people wrong? Or I'm not God, so I can't tell my offsprings or other people or the youth of this world the dangers of what you're teaching them? Is that right? Is that what you're indicating with God being the pinnacle of goodness? That's true, isn't it? Yes, there is no dark found in him. But yeah. So anyway, I'm just kicking it with you today, you know, like usual. Just speaking what's on my mind. But I just think it's a little odd. But thank you. I do have two very well-known psychiatrists, doctors that have written books and whatever. Maybe more than two, but I know two for certain that actually watch me. I do appreciate that, and there's things that I can learn as far as fuel to combat the darkness that is um, being portrayed as light. So the people that are helping me like that, I have no words to express my appreciation for you for that. And I know it's not easy to lead your busy schedule and take time out to make videos that I can either share as a part of what I'm doing or to go along with the theme of what I'm talking about. Beyond words, that touches my heart, and thank you again. It's amazing. That's the way God's people do work on this planet. So, cheers, everybody. Because let's put it this way, I'm the one that's going to say it, and I have a great army behind me. We all do. We're that army. So if you have somebody that's going to yell at Satan, well, you might want to help her with those words, and I appreciate that. So, anyway, so yes, that's what I do. That's what I've always done. If you're new here, I started my battle against the dark cabal big time when I was 12, but it just got worse every year. I started running away, and then I finally got emancipated. I took the Masons to court and divorced them for their abusive ways. And I proved it in a court of law because I had a job in an apartment on my own. I just kept running away. You know, I couldn't stand it. What do? Sit there and take it? No. Well, see, I'm not one to buy the bullshit that if you bring me down to that level, because I'll never get way down there, but if you bring a tinge of that out on me, of me, you deserve it. And I'm not going to feel sorry for it, but it takes an awful lot. So, but when I see well-known professors up in this world speaking true evil and pretending it's not, I'm going to get a little worked up because I do have children and grandchildren. I do have young people that watch me that I care about and love, or people in the future that I don't even know that might even run across me. So I'm definitely not going to be silent. And you and I both know that there's times in your life that you would have wished you had somebody physically on this planet with the strength to portray that towards the monsters that I actually do. So, if you can appreciate that and value that, I could consider you a friend of mine. That'd be a wonderful thing, you know. Don't be ashamed of me, and I won't be ashamed of you. It's pretty simple, you know. Because I'll never lie to you, I'll never treat you dirty, and the most valuable things in life are the things that I possess. That's something we all strive for on a daily basis, to walk in righteousness. That's us. You know, yeah, we all falter in our own ways. Just depends on what you value. So, you know. And the same with me. I run across people or people that I love. It's like, just exactly what do I love about them? How much do I love them, and why? You know, how valuable it actually is another human being in my life. And I do have the right to judge that. We all do. We're not living in a world where we can just take people on face value and just say, you know, that there is no stranger danger, because even people with degrees can do more damage in your life. In fact, far more damage than the average person. And that is a real dangerous thing. So, but I can't let it go. Teaching people that pornography can be a happy and playful thing and the best of both worlds in your marriage, that's just scummy. I'm not letting it go. I'm not pretending it's not. It's unnatural. I don't know what happened to these people to put them in that position in their life. And personally, like 30 years back, before that, I've been cheated on, totally trashed. I'm not going to let it make me bitter, and I'm certainly not going to adopt, love that word, something in my life that I know God wouldn't want me to do. You know, and I'm not going to teach other people that there's nothing wrong with that. If people have a personal life that you may not feel shame for, okay, that tells me, number one, who you are. And if you carry that shame, keep your dirty deeds to yourself and have God help you work on them. You know, call on Him, you know. So I did. I was gonna say that a little differently, but when I just think of somebody actually being so mad at me that they're gonna get their child up there as if to say, look, I raised this brilliant, beautiful human being, and this is a testament to who we are. Uh, well, not necessarily so, you know. I have 4 granddaughters, and I don't want and 2 step-grandsons, and I do not want any of these young people to have to lay with their spouse, and they're all thinking of other people in this world like a giant orgy. I would never, ever wish that upon my children or anybody I love. No way. Why would I do that to them? Oh, that's awful. That's beyond awful. Ugh. So, yeah, the pinnacle of goodness. Oh, yes, he is. But I'm bad because um, I had the audacity to swear about a professor that would teach people the wrong way. Well, I'm not the pinnacle of goodness, but I could be one of his favorites. You never know, right? So I think I do know according to how he's always helped me. But I can only go on my word and his, you know, not really much what anybody else thinks about me because their thinking might be a little bit faulty. So I just got to kind of sit back and watch for a while and determine that, you know. And I think everybody should. Yeah, we should. We have to test the spirit and the character inside people and don't be deceived, you know. Don't let this deceive you. If it bothers you, you know, I'm cool with that. I understand. I don't smoke around children. If their parents are, perhaps, but otherwise, people know me personally, know my integrity and my values, so don't be deceived. You know, things aren't always what they appear to be. So, yeah. But yeah, he just wasn't gonna get off that God thing. I think he thinks he's got a free pass on the train. Got a free pass on a train, all right. Uh, I was going to say something about his mother pulling a train. God help me. For my foreign viewers, that means that his mother was very promiscuous before he was born. If she were, or maybe still is, or maybe his mother watched porn too. Probably. You know, usually I would say, I don't know. I don't know, because that wasn't allowed in my home. But some families actually view pornography together, and that's highly disturbing to me. I don't know how, like a father and a son could sit both with an erection in front of each other, or mother daughter, mother son, a father daughter, all of you, and sit there and watch something and not be disturbed. I'm disturbed just thinking about it. You know, it is. It's disturbing me. Like Joe Biden's daughter talked about the incest that she suffered with her father and him taking a shower with her when she was 15. That's absolutely horrible. But people don't want to believe that. Well, I've told some of my viewers before, when I was 15, I was made to take my clothes off and I was beaten with a belt. I don't know if it was my adopted mom's idea or my adopted dad, but they both participated. And then I really started running away after that. I started running away when I was 5, but it was too cold. I was laying in between these garages and it was just too cold to stay out there by myself. Anyway. But yeah, I tried when I was really little to get away. And all the things that are happening in society, when I started learning more about it and had more access to the information of what the dark ball was doing, because they tried to kill me and they couldn't, then they really got scared. Some of you know some of the tumultuous things that I went through. And then the Jesuits started training me. I didn't have any understanding why or what they wanted. I didn't trust them. I still don't. But now I know why, because 2 of them were trying to save their souls. I know they were. By me being able to get out here over 20 years ago, actually in the 90s, I had went back to college and I spent a lot of time contacting different parts of the dark cabal and basically kind of not entirely threatening them, but somewhat, that I would actually come where they were because they had messed with me and my children and I was sick of it and they needed to start getting the real truth of the information of the scriptures and what was going on with these agendas for the people out here. And I started just really making it known and getting things out in the public way a long time ago for people. So this has been a fight of mine for a very long time, is what I'm saying. Back in the days when AOL and Outlook and those types of things were basically about it, you know, aside from government sites and a few other things. But actually, I was on one of the first computers called Big Blue in '72. And then I lived with a computer that was hooked up to IBM in 1970. What was that? 6 or 7, somewhere around in there. So yeah, I've had my experiences in the Internet of Things for quite a while, and the rest of it, all of it, all of their agendas, and like now the new phrase is the fire age. We live in the fire age. Can't prove directed energy weapons, although there are, from what I understand, there's some photographs of what recently happened, and we had seen some things in the past, like in California and whatnot. But I don't know. It's all a little weird, isn't it? But I know God's going to use it for the betterment of everybody and everything. Even if the satanic ones are initiating what's going on. And if you're new here, Sometimes I flub up my words. It could be out of nervousness. It also could be I had a stroke a while back, and I couldn't even talk or walk. It's just one of many times in my life, and that I believe was another attempt on me. We paid for a gas company to come and put fittings on our gas lines. They put water fittings instead of gas fittings, which are looser, and the gas was leaking in the lines coming into the house, up under the house, into the heat ducts, and right by where I was. I had a pet rabbit that almost died from it, and I did almost too. All my hair fell out. I ended up having to have a sinus operation. That too, I had a deviated septum that they fixed, but that isn't what gave me allergies and infections. That it was another attempt on my life, I believe. So, and we found that out because of the rabbit, and then me, and even the detector. It didn't come up. See, gas when it's leaking will seek the lowest level, and so the little animal, he had his own cage and he had like a porch, so he wasn't entirely on the floor. But if he was and he would play with the cat, he would use the litter box too. But he had his own house. But he was closer to the ground, so the little animals will suffer in your home if you have a gas leak before you will. So that's kind of a indicator too there, but that's just one time, one of many. But I think actually somebody trying to like run you over with a boat or shooting you or different things like this. These aren't fairy tale pretend things that I've been through. Being busted up, bones broken, things like that. I mean, actual attack by people that are into sorcery and witchcraft and those types of things. This isn't fairy tale pretend life, my battling the dark cabal. This is all a very real thing in my life, and it's been pretty darn painful, to tell you the truth. So, in a lot of ways. Yeah. So what I'm saying, if you do something rotten in private, that's on you. That's between you and God. But if you're instructing other people to do what you're doing, now you've involved other human beings. It's not only on you. You're responsible for that other person that followed in your footsteps. Or people, plural, in the greatest sense, of somebody that I used to admire and share their work till they laid that bomb on me, you know. And if I ever share that work again, it'll only be with something pointing out, and I don't listen to him anymore. I won't listen to a word he's got to say. If I ever see a video that's talking about the shame that he's caused, then perhaps I'll listen to what he's got to say. But that following day with his daughter, and they're both basically mocking my beliefs, it was enough for me. But then, to the rescue, somebody that's actually very famous that had a TV show, and another that's nominated for like the leading mind in mental health care on the planet, started putting out videos that would help me on my behalf in my battle, and then I knew that they were hearing my words too, and that made my heart feel better. I thought, well, okay, I'm going up against some giants, but I also have some giants that are following me. It's the same with the doctors that follow me and the lawyers, or I prefer to call you attorneys if that's okay. But and the lay people and the moms and all of you, the young people, you're so important to me. We all make this group of hearts and minds, to battle all this. And I think God's a better orchestrator than the dark cabal. They think they have the upper hand. They're pretending they do. The ones that are directly connected to Satan, they know full well they've already lost. They just want to bring other people down on their way. But to bring your own child in on it and mock somebody that doesn't believe that nudity is a good thing on our planet, well, that's on them. It's really on them. I do feel sorry for his daughter, but now that she's an adult, if she thinks it's all fun and games, maybe I don't feel all that bad, And to my grandkids, if you ever get out here and start making excuses for your poor behavior or bring somebody else in on your poor behavior by way of trying to justify that, well, you know me. I won't be talking to you for a while, Yeah, that was sad. I didn't expect that. I knew his daughter worked for him, like helping publish videos or whatever, reading the comments. I have no clue. But I just didn't see that coming. That okay, teaching everybody, him and his wife laughing it off up on stage. That porn's a happy and playful thing in your marriage. Reprobates. But to have his daughter get on there the next day and pretend that I'm some kind of a bad person because I'm going to point it out that it's not a good thing in a marriage. It destroys marriages. It destroys people. I just recently watched people I care about go through a devastating divorce because of these types of things. And I know personally how those types of things destroyed my childhood. I had gotten my heart back then. Lucky I was raised like that by people that pretended it was a pretense and a sham for the world. But I took it serious. What they were actually pretending, I did for real. I have a granddaughter like that. It's what I did. Would say grace at our meals. Oh, they did not like that. Well, my one granddaughter does that too. And everybody will cross their hands and say grace with this little girl. that started it probably at 4 years old, about the same time I did. Because if you're going to say you believe in God, you're going to at least give thanks for the food and the energy that He gives you through the day, so you can abuse your children when you're done eating or during the meal. But yeah, so I was blessed with a little warrior like that. They all are in their own ways, but yeah, it's a little special. It's pretty cool. I guess we have a lot of warm weather heading our way, which is really typical for this time of year. And being that it's a El Nino year with the warmth of the waves in the ocean, they're going to use all that for their benefit of what they're trying to say with this warming up of stuff. And still the sea levels haven't risen, but they're gonna persist with their stuff. It's a part of the plan, you know. You know what? I think I'm gonna try and pause this. Excuse me one moment. I'm gonna see if it works. Hi, I'm back. That's the first time I've ever paused one of my videos, so that was a new thing to me. I hope it worked well. I had a fly that was bothering me. I think I have it killed now, and then I had to go wash where it landed on me. It just totally grosses me out. So I call them Satan little helper. It's like, you know, it just makes me feel like, gee, I'm talking about a certain thing, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere. I mean, we live in the country, so when we open the door, things are bound to fly in. It happens, but it's still a little weird, you know. But anyway, like The Exorcist, if you've seen that movie, oh, it's bad. I think it's kind of a horrific movie. I love the music. I don't listen to it much, but I think the kid's name was Michael. Something starts with a O. He wrote Tubular Bells when he was 12 years old, which is pretty remarkable. Just the orchestral composition of the whole thing and the length of it is pretty remarkable for a preteen to have written. So if you've never heard that music, now there is another fly flying around. Come here, Satan. I got something for you. Oh, yeah, that old thing, you pick up a fly swatter and they run. Never fails. But yeah, anyway, Tubular Bells is pretty remarkable. I don't watch really scary movies anymore. My life became one all by itself, and I, I'm even leery at watching romances can turn into something I don't want to see. Comedies seem to be not always so funny, just all these little, and even Christian movies can be a bit sappy or even misconstrued in their messages, so I'm really careful on. I like watching real people, and I love movies too, but and old movies are good a lot of the time, but and I can handle so much of the lewd world, but only up into a point, you know. Come here, you little creep. I don't need to cast you down. You've already been cast. Now they want to cast their spells on everybody else and make things seem appropriate in life when they aren't. You know, those types of things. I would say even one of the doctors of the mind and soul, human being in general, because you have to take so much psychology with physical medical practice along with in some psychology. Some doctors are actually medical doctors also. And the one that I'm thinking of in particular, I would say probably might even watch pornography, but he's not laying that on the whole world. And the faults that he carries within himself, he exposes that to the world too. In fact, that's how he even started his writing his books, were from his faults, from that viewpoint. And so that's to be respected, you know, big time. He's not out there pretending to believe in God. He actually believes in God. And he's not out there saying something's good when it isn't, because he knows it isn't. And he's helping me battle what he knows to be harmful, especially if it were in a marriage. I know he knows, wow, that is not cool, you know. So he's a good man. These are one of these that I would say has the Christ spirit in him and doesn't even know it. Or if he does, that's not what he calls it, you know, because he's Jewish. So, but no, they believe in Christ. They just don't believe that they don't believe he's their savior. You know, it's not that they don't believe in God. And two, here's something on that note on their behalf. Um, Nobody gets to the Father but through Jesus. So on that last day, it doesn't matter if, I'm just saying, say you're a little child over in an African tribe and you've never heard of Jesus Christ. It might be a kind of a doubtful nowadays, but it just say this is a person that never ever really encountered anything like that. Still know they have God in their heart, and it isn't. Yeah, we need to make friends with Christ, yes, but it is to seek the face of the Father, to get to know the Father. So on that very last day, whether you knew him when you were little or you know him now or whatever, it's still that final day in his judgment, whether or not you're worthy. So on that final day, it doesn't really matter. I mean, yeah, to have fellowship and following and friendships, that's an important thing. I'm 100% convinced that we are born who we are to be, and a leopard does not change its spots. You either have that conscience in you, you convict yourself, your heart convicts yourself on a daily basis. Just depends on how bad Satan's trying to pull you down. How bad are you going to fight against that conviction of your own heart? If you can convict your heart and not make excuses for it, well, you're ahead of the game. That's really all that's asked, is to have that repentance, turning away from what you were doing. If you can, if you can't, ask for God's help, you know. As I light another cigarette, I'm not trying to make money off of my preaching to you. I'm talking to you as a friend. And once again, if that's not to your liking, don't try and pick on me because you won't like the outcome. So either be my friend and appreciate my golden heart, or try and find faults that you presume to be a fault and run with it. I would recommend that. Try that. It's not going to work out well for you, but you can try it. And you won't be the first one. I've been battling evil all my life. I did not just start this. This has been a lifelong thing. I was a tiny baby with only God to look upon. That's the only help I ever had. In fact, people around me when I was raised, and even to this day, a lot of people are strictly forbidden to even have human contact with me because of the strength of my soul like that. Believe what you want. So I spent a lot of lonely years. So if you want to judge me on that, you go for it. Have fun. I think you will for a while if you want to. But yeah, it does take a while to get to know people, but if they're right up front of what they're doing, and you know it's something that, like I say, if you go to like a marriage counselor and they're recommending to your wife or to your husband in front of you that you should engage in seeing other people's nudity, well, for number one, that doctor's a shameful sot and very unprofessional. And don't listen to anything like that. That is the worst advice I have ever heard in my life. You will never make love to your spouse being aroused by somebody else. If that's how you began your relationship, you actually have never made love. You just haven't. So that's a fact. It doesn't work like that. God does not bless that union at all. Don't think he does. It's a no. If you think that you could go before God right now, like I said, before his throne, you think he doesn't have any clothes on and you're not going to have any clothes on, and that is why the fallen angels fell. If you don't think what they were doing in heaven and why they were cast down here into human form, because they did not appreciate having the knowledge one step above what humans had, so he put them in their place to give them a chance to know better now. So if they're still out there doing the same things they were doing before, that's not a forgivable thing. And it certainly isn't allowed in the house of God. Don't deceive yourself. If you can't do it before God, you don't need to be doing it. And you know what I'm talking about too. So whatever little idiosyncrasy just went through your mind about me, leave me out of it. You don't know my soul, or you're pretending you don't. One of the two. Because nobody I know can hold a candle to my virtues, and you cannot sit in front of my face and pretend you're somebody you're not. So I'm just saying it like it is, whether you like it or not, because I know my virtues. I know where I've been on this planet and what I've done. I walk the walk. I just don't talk about it. Everywhere I've been, every state I've been in, which is almost all of them, and a couple of countries, I've always walked with that dignity, and everybody that saw me knew that. And yeah, I got tortured a lot for it too, because I wouldn't join in their vile ways and filthy conversations. So I think some of you know just what I'm talking about. It's kind of like Doug said something last night too, that if the wrath of God were to be put upon men that looked at me wrong, if they knew how uncomfortable that would make me, or even wanting to make me cry, if the wrath of God were to go upon you for those infractions you caused me, you would probably be astounded of how I've been made to feel in my life because of other people's ill repute ways, that I do not have. So I followed the example I was given. Yeah. So, and believe me, I've had plenty of people try to paint me with their dirty brush all my life. All my life. So, anyway. Nope, not perfect. I also swear. I try not to. But if I get that worked up, yeah, I'll rant. Might take me a while to get it out of me. Depends on how bad I was hurt, you know? But, yeah, I won't call it even a trauma response, and I won't call it even, like retribution or anything like that. I'm not going to make excuses for it. I'm just telling you who I am. I'm not perfect. And those are my faults like that, you know? So, someday I might quit. I have. I might again. But don't worry about praying for me for that, because when I'm up in the middle of the night with the different ailments that I have, I smoke cigarettes and watch the news or whatever it is, or, I'm not making excuses. I'm just telling you about me. I'm not telling you what to do at all. Unless you're instructing people wrong, I'm going to tell you what to do. I'm going to actually threaten you. Yeah. Yes, I will. People I love have been extremely harmed by what's going on in this world. And if that were to mean a physical confrontation by mostly men, I can deal with you. I don't have a problem with that. So just keep that in mind. I'm a little different, and it might not be to your liking. You might be a little softer than that, and I can thoroughly understand you. There's whole audiences of people that want to be soft-soaked. And that isn't who I'm talking to. I'm talking about people that have been probably brutalized and traumatized and chastised and a lot of other those tises because of the stand that they take in the world to help other people. So those are basically the people I'm talking to, you know, that actually understand my soul and don't pretend they don't, you know. I'll have another cigarette and talk to you for a bit longer. Just a moment. I'm glad. I think that pause thing worked. That's pretty cool. There's times I made videos that I didn't have the right equipment. I still don't entirely have it set up like I want it to. Too many things happened so far with our um, first dishwasher, tractor, truck, everything that you guys have heard through the months here that we've been through trying to make our world go around. Oh, you better not be bugging me. Um, so yeah, I haven't been able to do a lot of the things I want to do. You know, like finishing that my project in the bathroom remodeling. I've got everything to do it. I'm not in the frame of mind right now to do it, but hopefully before winter hits, because I don't want to be painting when I have to have the windows closed. So I'll get that done before winter hits, and then I'll show you what I've done. So later, another time. I think I did get through to one of my friends that I really admire and love dearly. Uh, Reminds me so much of myself in a lot of ways. But I don't know. I don't know. It's a man, so I'm not sure that maybe a woman looking at him the wrong way would make him want to cry. I don't think he's got that female thing in him like that or nothing, but there's different things he's gone through in his life that I've gone through that I can totally relate to. But I think I've reached him on the level that I'm not condemning you personally. I just don't want to hear other people drawn um, in a struggle that they don't need to have in their lives, you know. And I think I made my point in that area that I could still be friends with this person without any hard feelings, and that was my prayer. And also to help for him in areas where he needs help. So whether it's with relationships or whatever, my prayers are big, and I believe that my prayers will come true. I've got some really big ones, you know. Yeah, I always have had. It's like about, oh, maybe 12 years ago when Facebook first was up, and I was over there going to promote a new business that I was going to go into at the time. But I did ask, I was involved with some women called the Global Sisterhood that were Muslim women and children that had been taken out of their country to protect them against tyrants. And just asked them, you know, do you cry? I cry for my sisters across the world, and I wondered if they cried for me too, you know. where's my family? In other words, I was asking them, you know. I found out there's quite a few and a lot that really stuck with me. One thing that was really, and then I separately made friends out of these two people, Jasmine and Muhammad, and I believe Jasmine is from Gaza and Muhammad is from, I think, maybe Pakistan, or no, somewhere close to Egypt. They could both be from Egypt. But I made friends with these people separately, and then the next thing I know, a couple years later, they invited me to their wedding. In Egypt. I couldn't go, but that was nice. Make friends across the world, and they love you enough to invite you to their wedding. That's pretty cool, you know? At least I thought it was. When I first started making friends out here, it's like, wow. And we're still friends. Really, and she is a English teacher in a college in Egypt. I don't know. I can't remember what he did. I think he's some kind of engineer or something. I have quite a few engineer friends too. Um, People a lot of scientists. Yeah, and a lot of just downright Christian warriors, or even Muslims that became Christians, and all walks of life. Everybody. It's pretty cool. In those ways, I am blessed. I get a little sad, and I was even really angry when I thought, okay, I gotta say something against this superstar in the mental health field. And being that I was a paraprofessional, counselor, minister, student teacher, I could go on and on, whatever. But with the same nurse, too, with the same concerns in life that a lot of the people that I was listening had, and nobody else was saying anything about they didn't see anything wrong with those words that were spoken about porn, and I just felt like I had to because nobody else was, you know? And I thought, somebody's got to say something. What if some man or woman or child comes across this and doesn't see anybody saying, no, this is not cool. I don't want my husband watching porn and then getting with me. I don't want to teach my granddaughters that the ones they love are gonna lay with them after they've looked at other people. It's like, no, this isn't right, you know? Somebody has to say something. And so I've been asking preachers, where are all your words on the 7 deadly sins? Lust being a deadly one, you know? Let alone the 10 Commandments. And yeah, it's covered out there, but not as much as it should be. Not for the adulterous ways that this world is away from God. And that is the abomination and desecration, standing in the holy place. Marriage is sacred. Nobody else belongs in your marital chamber, your bed. That's yours and your spouse, you both, and God. That's it. That's it. God's not watching you, by the way. He already knows ahead of time, you know. He knows the desires of our hearts. And if they are righteous and they're clean and they're with good intention, I'm pretty sure they're going to be fulfilled. It might take a while. It could be decades of a marriage that you might think is a struggle, that is maybe you two growing together instead of growing apart. It's a high probability, or maybe not a high probability. It's possible. Yeah, the way people are being instructed in this world that anything goes, it's not a high probability. It's actually, the cards are stacked against you. I just want to help unstack some of that, unravel it, and give you a voice of reason, you know? We don't need to see everybody's body. We don't want to see that. We shouldn't want to see that, right? I hope you feel the same way. There's nothing wrong with admiring somebody's physique. It's like, you know, I show you often, I love my physical fitness. This wasn't something I started, look at me, look at me. I was a little kid trying to survive in a world of monsters. I mean, big, big, strong people that were not all there. So I was battling some pretty dangerous stuff in my life. So I started putting some strength behind what I had to do, and in every way possible. So yeah, we can look at somebody and think, hey, cool, you're really cute, you're strong, that's really awesome, you know. And I think everybody's cute. Some people more than other people. Other people, the minute they start talking, they're not so cute anymore. Um, it's just the way I feel, you know. But I think too, what has helped me a lot in life, and in fact, I've stuck with somebody that I always wondered why, but God keeps telling me, don't quit, don't quit. So I don't, you know, because I'm not going to pretend that somebody's soul is like an infraction on it, is the whole of that person. Now, if it's an actual personification of evil and they're acting soulless, well, I could possibly say, hey, I'm not going to take any stock in anything you're saying, you know. So, but some people, it's just something there, and God says, no, say this. I'm like, okay, fine. And I have a few people that feel the same way about me. There's just something there that God doesn't let us give up on that, you know. Even if we hear something we don't understand, then we ask for understanding of that. And it seems to work all the time. It's amazing. But that Christ Spirit, he knows what he's doing, you know. Even if we don't at the time, you know. And the words that he does give us when we're speaking, you know. some of our own, inspired by him, you know. Oh, that reminds me, I am going to take one of my allergy pills. I think tonight I've got these button mushrooms. I'm allergic to them, but um, we both love them. But I think I'm going to make deep fried mushrooms. Last week Doug had bought some, but they're not as they weren't as good as what they could have been. But I did suffer. But I didn't take any of my medicine, which I usually don't. But I was going to remember this morning to take one, and I didn't. So I won't die after, even while cooking them. The same with fish. If I'm allergic to all fish and shellfish and all legumes and asparagus and corn and all kinds of stuff. All kinds of stuff. Weird food. Oranges. Not supposed to have nuts, but I do. Or potatoes, not supposed to have them. No mushrooms, but I'm going to. But I'll have to have something that I'm not allergic to and have more of that. But anyway, so even cooking them later can be dangerous for me. So, otherwise, I don't like taking any. I take a multiple vitamin and detox with sweet wormwood and fast all day and eat once a day and exercise and keep fit like that. So that's my regime. Well, I think I'm gonna cut this off here. I just wanted to say hi to whoever's watching this weekend and let you know I'm still not off of that Jordan Peterson thing, because there's a lot of people that watch him, and there's no married couple that deserves to hear somebody else's struggles within their relationship that isn't sound within the perimeters of what God wants for our marriages. And I draw the line there. And I'm not going to be quiet about it, because it's a big grievance and a great injustice to everybody out here. So that's what's going on today. So I appreciate you being here. I'll talk to you tomorrow, I'm sure, most likely. Have a really good night or day wherever you're at. Peace and love from Pine City, Minnesota, USA. Love y'all.